Hello, today we're going to be coloring Ramona and Scott, a coloring page that I made. I like the show and I wanted to make some fan art, and so I made a coloring page that I'm going to color myself with Ohuhu alcohol markers. Yeah, okay, so I think I'm going to pick out my colors now, and I'm going to have the reference, I'm going to have like a Pinterest reference board basically pulled up on my phone so I can kind of see like what colors I want to use. I guess it'll be interesting to see which hair color I pick for Ramona. All right, so I'll be using this to pick out some colors. So, okay, I grabbed a handful to start, and I think this should be sufficient for now. So basically, right now I have 3 sheets. I've got the one that I'm gonna color in and then eventually cut the edges. I also have a backup of that one. That way, just if I want to try again, I guess. And I also have a test page that I'm going to be using. I'm going to be honest, I wasn't trying to print 3 copies, but I was just like testing some stuff out with the printer. Ended up with 30 copies. So I'm going to use this one as a test page because my link got cut off there. My printer's been finicky, so I guess I can keep playing around in the future while I make coloring pages in terms of like formatting, but I just went with what works for me, and I'm gonna use this one to test the colors and make sure it's all good. What I really hope doesn't happen is that the printer outline ink bleeds with the markers, because then I don't know what I'm gonna do in that situation. No fear, we will figure it out when we get there. Hopefully we don't get there. I'm also going to get another blank sheet to put under for bleeding so I don't get marker all over my desk. Slide that under there. I am going to start with, there's trying to find good skin. So I definitely wanted something light. Oh, it also looks like the marker is like perfect. The marker is like perfectly fine. This might even be too tan for what I was like looking for. Let's see. I want like a more pinky rather than yellowy for Ramona. Oh, that's way too dark. It's a good blush color though. I'm gonna have to keep looking. What's this one look like? Is this one too tan? Oh, way too brown for this guy. So, but maybe this would be good for Probably can't tell too much of a difference on camera. I think I'll keep these 2 for now. I also want to find a good hair color. That could be like a good shading color. Those are like identical. Oh, maybe because they are identical, I have 2 of the same color. That'll do it. Today I learned I have 2 of the YR5 terracotta marker. His shirt color is like a bright yellow. It's not giving highlightery enough. Oof. Yeah, definitely not this. I kind of miss the smell of alcohol markers. Not gonna lie. I need more like a lemon yellow. Yeah, there we go. That's good. And then red for the outlines of his, like the sleeves of his shirt. I think this red would be good. And the star on his shirt is like what color? Red as well? Yeah. All right, this is the go away pile. Like put back. This is the Scott's clothes pile. And I guess this is like the Scott's skin pile. And hair. So you have Scott's colors here. Mr. Pilgrim's colors. I need to find a nice, really light tone pinky color, so I will do that. All right, I've got a bunch more to test out for the skin, so let's just do that. I think we've got our Ramona, sort of our Ramona colors here. I'm thinking the pink and purple hair for Ramona. I'm gonna do the skin of the actual one first, because I have all those colors now, and then we'll continue with the picking of colors momentarily. All right, so I've got my test page. Doesn't even bleed through. onto the next page that much, which is nice. Hear that? That's like the best sound ever. All right, I'm gonna keep this close by so I can just swatch colors right before I do them, so I don't mess any colors up. I've got to say, coloring is probably my favorite part of like anything. I like coloring digitally because it's like an easier version of a coloring book because you can, you know, like undo and stuff. As a kid, I was like really particular about like how I colored. I think that's just because like how I learned how to color. I would always use like coloring pencils. I never really liked using any other material other than like coloring pencils. I would like outline the edges like around here like really dark and then color in the insides like really really light, and like I would only shade with like opacity. Like I would just make the same color darker instead of using different colors. This went on until I was like 15. I don't know why. I just like never really, I guess until I started using like markers. I started using markers around like, I would probably say like early high school, so like 14, 15. It's a bit patchy now, but I will be adding little bits of blush. And smoothing it out. And I'm gonna try and blend it while it's wet as much as possible. And that next layer kind of just completes, like blends it out too. The second layer really like blends out any streakiness you might have still. Although it's like, I've also been coming to learn, like, I guess as a kid, like I was always afraid of like texture. I never really liked texture in my stuff. I don't know why. I don't know. I always wanted everything to look flat and smooth, like as if it was done digitally. But now as I've like grown up, I'm like, I really kept coming to appreciate texture. His is a little bit more of a yellow tone, I like to think, while Ramona's is more like a pinkish tone. Although they're both light skin, it's like they do have visibly different tones, which I want to emphasize here. I also got to grab a light color gray, maybe like a warm and a cool gray for them, because I don't like to leave any white, so I got to color in the whites of their eyes as well. But I hope to actually fill in like the background maybe too. Like I really want to cover up like this whole piece of paper with marker. Ideally. And then if I want to add white back in, I can just use like a white gel pen. I like to add blush to some cute spots like the ears, obviously the cheek. But I also usually extend it to the nose a little bit as well. Then I usually also add them into like knuckles, maybe a little bit of fingertips. Just like add a little bit more depth of color. A little bit of shade. Just add a little bit of depth. And then we're gonna go over everything again while it's still a little wet with that base color. To even out all of those streaky lines. Honestly, now that I can like separate audio on Twitch to recording, I'm unstoppable. I'll probably do a lot more recording for videos like while live streaming, because like get them hours in anyway, you know? And then I can also like advertise in the video that if you want to see me do the stuff like this live, follow me on Twitch. The Twitch name is Celions. Twitch.tv/Celions. Just like the YouTube channel's name. Alright, well, skin is done. I'm going to set the skin colors aside in case I do need them again. I'm going to start working on Scott Pilgrim's hair. So these two are for his shirt. I think I grabbed these two for the hair. I think I'm going to need like a really light color too, just to have a blending color. Alright, this is going to be the actual color. This is a really deep color that I don't know if I want to use for shading yet. It just seems a bit intense. And I'm looking for a base color. That's too dark. I'm thinking the really light yellow, honestly, as a base color. It's almost like a cool yellow. Yeah, I think we're going to go with that. See, something I kind of forget to do sometimes is that I can actually rotate. It's like rotating the canvas digitally. I can just, you know, rotate the paper to make it easier to fill in, especially these small gaps, and just like just be more careful with like lines that I don't want to go over. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if I go over the lines a little bit, because, you know, it is my art. I can do as I please. I'm just gonna fill in his shirt and his little star on the shirt while I'm here. I'm still thinking. I think I want to go pink and purple for Ramona's hair. Yeah, I think pink and purple. I have returned with a mountain, whole bunch of markers, all different reasons. Okay, I'm just gonna go on and toss these over here. Now it's looking like a workstation, huh? Might switch to the broad tip for this one. I haven't used my Ohuhu markers in a while, so it does like feel pretty fun to use these again. I don't know, this is probably my favorite traditional media other than like just sketching with like a pen or a pencil on some paper. I think like markers probably has to be like my best one, like my top tool, my top art supply. Filling in big blocks of space like that is like just so satisfying. Alright, this is gonna be the fun part, the very vibrant and fun Ramona flowers. As for my thoughts like on the show, I think the show was actually really fun, really interesting. I was excited for it to come out because like I did really enjoy the movie, the live action movie. And honestly, like I think it was a very interesting, like a different kind of story being told. And I don't know, it was very visually interesting too. I never read the comics. I really want to now, honestly. I think and I love comic books, so I think that would be perfect for me. The style is just like so fun, and like the style that they chose to incorporate into the show was like great, honestly. I give it a really high rating. I thought it was very funny, very meta, which was very interesting to see. And I don't know, it's like I'm not like a Netflix fanboy, but I am happy with how they had it turn out. I think that it actually was like best case scenario, and you know, completed in a season. And you know, if it ever does get renewed for another season, that would be really cool, but not necessary. Like they obviously set it up where they could do more, and I thought that was really interesting. And yeah, we'll see how the future goes, but overall how I liked the base show. I really liked how Pilgrim takes off. I thought it was great. I really like alcohol markers, especially the ones with like the brush tip like this, because it's just like gives that like thin and thick lines when you need it, and it's like really good for blending. Home stretch, honestly. Just gonna finish up their clothes and then the background. And then I'll probably add a few details. Kind of like the smell of alcohol markers. I don't like the smell of like alcohol, like rubbing alcohol or like drinking alcohol, but I don't know. I think it's like the nostalgia for me. I probably shouldn't like it, but is what it is, I guess. It's even more like desaturated than this. If I layered the blue with like a gray to desaturate it. Let's layer this blue. Alright, I also need to fill in their mouths, like at least Scott's mouth. I'm thinking about what color background should I use, if any, I guess. Maybe just like a really, really light gray. This marker has been through it. I've had this marker for a while. I have a feeling I'm gonna need to replace this nib and add some more ink in here soon. I have been using this marker for a long time. It's losing juice. I hope it has enough to cover the rest of the paper. Come on, marker. You can make it, you can make it. I think I'm gonna use these colors for the stars just because those are colors I like. I think would tie the piece together. It's colors I've already used. Just adding a little bit of those final touches. I honestly think I'm done. They're looking pretty cute. Actually, let me add a little bit of a final touch. Added little stars in their eyes. I think that this came out really well. It was really fun, actually. It was nice to not like stress so much about the actual artwork since it's already done, and also free to download at my Ko-fi shop. It's pay what you want, so if you want to give a tip of any kind, if you want to leave a little bit, that's totally up to you. Or if you just want to support me on Ko-fi, buy me a tea, that's also there. But I've also got some other digital downloads like mobile backgrounds, and eventually I want to do more backgrounds like desktop backgrounds and such as well. And that way it's just a way to support me, to get my stuff, but to do it, you know, where you don't have to get a physical item shipped to you. You don't have to pay for shipping, especially for international folks. So yeah, this coloring page is free on my Ko-fi. It has a JPEG file for you to print, and as well as a PNG file for you to color digitally if you'd like. Yeah, like I said, I had a lot of fun doing this. I sketched and lined this digitally in Procreate and then printed it out on my Canon printer, and then just went ahead and colored it in with Ohuhu markers. Thankfully, my printer ink didn't smudge while doing this, so that's a blessing. I'm happy with how this came out. I might even make this a print, who knows, if it's of any interest to people. So thank you for watching this video. Thanks for tuning in. And if you want to watch me do this kind of stuff live, you can follow my Twitch, twitch.tv/Sallions, and it'll also be linked in the description and linked on my page. See ya.